consent to the easement for the right-of-way for the sidewalk, and she said it will only enhance her property, so she's so happy that you're actually doing that.
Mr. Powell, is that sufficient for us to go forward?
What the applicant just stated was an easement for a sidewalk. I don't know the design. It could be a right-of-way, that's the design of that. It's hard to describe, it's hard to see that without knowing what the project is that the city's working on, or the county or whoever's doing the sidewalk project. An easement would get the sidewalk in place, but it might not be exactly, it affects your setback requirements and your green area in between the right-of-way, and it would affect the developability of her property, depending on where that right-of-way line is. It's the building setback area. Unless there is a real reason to hurry through this, I would really recommend on both sides' interest is to make sure that you're precise. I mean, the city could take an easement for a sidewalk and not affect, but may not get what the county needs to put in the sidewalk.
Mayor, this is one of the sidewalk projects that we don't have design and engineering for yet. We don't really know what, as far as right-of-way, as far as construction easement that we need for that. It's one of those projects that's waiting on an IGA to award the engineering for. So I can't give any specifics on that right now.
Doesn't the government have a right to take, take a property if they wanted to do the sidewalk?
That's a very last resort.
And the good result of that is we write a check for that, and that's what this discussion is about. There's an obligation to pay for it when we condemn it.
Is there a way, may I ask, is there a way for us to put in this, just that at the time of the approval, the landowner agreed to work with the city, the easements necessary to supply the sidewalks on her property? But it's nothing binding, I understand, but we're not in a position to get anything binding, right? We don't even know what we need, so there's nothing we can draw binding, right?
I think that's a fair description.
Is there any need to do anything if we let this lapse until we have additional information? Is she affected in any way?
Basically, she's in violation of the zoning law because she's outside of her CUP, which will lapse in July. That's why she's here. So without the extension, she's breaking the law, per se.
Can we give her a temporary extension until like August and then bring this back up for a vote? So she's,
The kind thing to do in that circumstance, I think we heard this, about a $500 fee to go through this process. And you can extend it temporarily and with applicant's permission, schedule it to that day. And waive the fee. Or just keep it alive as a temporary event until you get to some point where you think you will know how much right-of-way is involved.
So there's no way to give her that permit without including the right-of-way situation?
would a member of council entertain making a motion to postpone this until our second meeting in August and until the August meeting granting a temporary permit to the applicant so not to be in violation?
My concern about that is that's only 60 days. Are we going to be in a position 60 days from now to be able to do anything that we can't do tonight?
I can't tell you that.
Well, can we do 6 months? Can we do it till December?
I don't know how long you want, I mean, that's up to y'all.
Let's just give the extension to December. Mr.
Surely
Sanders,
that-
you should
surely-
have that.
Yes, we'll put them to work on this section first.
Okay, so would that be agreeable, ma'am? We're going to give an extension through December. And December, we'll have that in line. We, at that point, give you the extension. There'll be no fees, no further fees. It's just that you'll be in compliance through December. And then the only thing that we're holding us up from the 3-year approval is making sure that the language is correct on the the easement for the sidewalks, which we'll have by then, and then we'll give you the rest of the extension.
Councilman Witz,
I know it's
point
confusing.
of clarification, it's fine. So is your motion to grant a a temporary variance until December, or will you consider amending that until December, or until we have the information in case we need to move before
That's fine,
December?
that's fine.
So in December, you will actually vote on
No,
extending.
You'll be good until then, no matter what, and then
Okay.
they'll come back and give you the permanent one. You'll actually get a few months out of it too.
Okay.
6 months out.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Come out ahead.
So there is a motion, does everyone understand?
Yes,
Is-
but I still have a
Okay,
clarification question to ask. If we're just postponing this until December, to, presumably in December then, should we have all of the information from the county, and we would know what either the easement needed or the right-of-way acquisition would be, we are basically postponing this to where we won't grant a 3-year extension unless the property owner agrees to just contribute that property or contribute the easement without payment for that sidewalk.
well, we can't make any decision tonight on that, so we're leaving the issue open. Technically, we can't, as a body, we can't prejudge that.
Okay, so that, therein is my point. If we can't make any decision on that, and basically the property's gonna have to go through right-of-way acquisition or easement at the time that we know things, then I don't see why we need to extend her CUP. Just go ahead and give her the CUP and let the sidewalks take its natural course when they come up.
Because we're not ruling out the fact that she may grant us an easement or right away without us having to pay for it, and so it does no one any harm to wait. Any additional questions?
What exactly do I report to her?
You tell her she got it temporarily and that the council, tell her that,
So send her an email and straighten it all.
Okay.
tell her to get in touch with our planning department and they will take care of her.
Thank you.
This is on for a public hearing, and since there is a new motion, I will reopen the floor. Is there anyone that would like to speak for or against this new motion? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing comment on this agenda item and call the motion for a vote as previously stated. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. All those opposed, 0 opposed. The motion stands approved. And that ends our agenda. Now for council reports. Councilman Witz.
Very quickly, I'd like to thank everyone who was involved in any way with the memorial and the dedication. It was wonderful. I want to congratulate Stat on the beach blast. It was a great time. Fun was had by all, and it's wonderful to be able to go out every Saturday morning, sometime around 9:30 or 10, not usually around 5:30 or 6, and go to the farmer's market. Good night.
Councilwoman Bender.
Yes, I'll be brief, but I did want to bring to everyone's attention, I was having a conversation with the chief and the city manager last week, and we got to talking about a new improvement that's coming to Highway 78, along with, it's being done in conjunction with the paving of Highway 78. For years, the crosswalks at the high school have been inadequate. There's a crosswalk that goes from the school to the bank across 78, and then there's one that goes from the school across Skyland, basically getting you over to Britt Elementary or the In-N-Out convenience store. But a lot of the kids go from the high school to the Burger King, and there was no crosswalk across Wisteria Drive. I was sitting at a council meeting, I believe it was last September or October, and Miss Christy Linsky, who's the government teacher at South Gwinnett, had her class here, and one of the students even got up and asked the city council to get crosswalks in at that intersection so that they didn't have to take their life in their hands crossing Wisteria Drive. And that is finally taking place. Those crosswalks are going in. You may have noticed that some of the island areas are torn up, and that's part of that. And I just wanted to bring it to your attention how much work was involved in getting these crosswalks in. The chief of police, and chief, if I leave something out, please feel free to come up and correct me. But the chief has been working on those crosswalks for 2 years with the county and the state DOT, trying to get those crosswalks implemented. And one of the reasons, Erica's got a short video that she's gonna play, this is one of the reasons why these crosswalks are so important. That'll be short. This is a police officer turning right onto Wisteria Drive. And if you see, this high school student was racing across Wisteria and darted out between parked cars that were stopped at the intersection. You'll see her coming out on the left. And luckily, in this case, she only had minor injuries and was not seriously hurt. But this is just, I mean, this happens time and again. I've driven down Wisteria, and there's always kids cutting through the cars, and it's just a very dangerous area. But if it wasn't for the chief and the city continuing to push for this through the county, we wouldn't be getting those crosswalks in. And so I just wanted to say thank you to the chief for getting this done and for being persistent in getting it done. Thank you.
Councilman Emanuel.
I'd just like to echo what Mayor Pro Tem Witt said. We had a really good weekend with farmers market, with a concert previously. Things are really happening in Snellville. We have a new sign at the community garden that's beautiful. You might want to go out and look at that. And the community garden is also blooming. I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight. Have a safe ride home.
Councilman Kraus.
No report tonight, but thank you all for coming.
Councilman Howard.
Well, how y'all doing? Everybody good? Everybody shop local this past couple of weeks? Okay, so good. I really just have one thing. Our Veterans Memorial has come to life. And it's been an arduous process to get there. But in the end, what you see outside in our front lawn, I would put up against any memorial anywhere to honor our veterans who really have sacrificed everything so that we can get to do what we do sitting here in these chairs. So anyway, thank y'all very much. Y'all travel safe going home, and
Thank you. That concludes the council reports. Now for the mayor's report. Summer is always a busy time with events in the city. Not only does the city have events in Stat, but our local churches and different organizations. So thank you to everyone. All these different organizations fill a need and a gap in our city, so we appreciate everything that all these organizations do. Hope everyone enjoys the events. I know that the Beach Blast was a great time. Meeting Stat the Cat was a lot of fun, and the farmers market this past weekend, along with the health fair at the senior center. We didn't mention in our announcements, I don't know, Ms. McAloon was here earlier. She's still here? We won't have another council meeting before July 4th, and we will have our Star Spangled event on July 4th, so we encourage all of y'all to come out, and don't forget Flag Day this Friday at 10 o'clock. Also want to follow up on something that Councilman Bender said. I know the chief has been working, seems like for years now, at trying to get those crosswalks put in at South Gwinnett High School, and I too am appreciative of his work and the work of the police department. I saw the news story on, I think it was 46 a couple weeks ago, about the incident that happened with a young lady getting hit. And crosswalks are a great thing, but they are really only a temporary solution for right there. And our long-term goal is to have pedestrian bridges across Highway 78, and hopefully have a pedestrian bridge there at South Gwinnett High School. Those take a great deal of funding, as you can imagine, but there is something called a Tiger Grant, which is a federally funded program, and we do have the support of our U.S. Representative Hank Johnson for a Tiger Grant application, along with our state senator, Senator Butler. We attempted to get an application together this year for it, but were unable to meet the deadline. And so we have been working with our local DOT officials and our government officials to apply for a Tiger Grant this September coming up, so that we can do enhancements to the 78-124 intersection, such as pedestrian bridges. So that will be something that will be appearing on the council agenda in the next few months, asking council to approve funding for environmental studies for that. So the crosswalks are great, but we need to do more there, and I believe the solution is pedestrian bridges, so please look for more information on that to come. With that, that will conclude my mayor's report. If you have any public comment, now is your time to come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Marcy Fair, 1749 Ridgedale Drive. If it takes that long to get crosswalks, could we start working on one for out here in front to cross over to the town green?
Getting tired of directing traffic right there, Ms. Ferris.
It's dangerous.
I understand.
We have too many people jaywalking.
I believe that is in our master plan for the town green. It's just a matter of moving forward with that master plan.
Well, let's get on it.
Thank you, ma'am.
How do you really feel, Marcy?
You want to know the truth?
Kurt Schultz, 2027 Tanglewood Drive. Just wanted to let everyone know that we made our first delivery today of food to the Southeast Food Co-op. We had a nice bag of lettuce from the farmer's market on Saturday that Cass donated from Finch Creek Farms, and we also had some cucumbers and squash from the community garden that went out there today. So we're starting in again with the program like we had from last year, and hopefully we'll get a lot more from the farmers market to go out there. And the second thing, I hope this wasn't an overlook, but very sad note, Jerry Oberholzer's daughter-in-law, Jessie, 29 years old, passed away about a week ago, and very sad with two young children. And so anyway, keep them in your prayers and thoughts also. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. And I didn't mean to disrespect her by not having a moment of silence, but I know that Councilman Witts, or excuse me, I think it was Mr. Everson had a moment of silence at the Veterans Memorial for her. So also, I received some sad news just now sitting here that Louis McGee that lived over on Poplar Street just passed away during the course of this meeting. So please keep her family in your thoughts and prayers. Additional public comment.
I'm Tricia Rollins, 2088 Harbor Oaks Drive. I come to you with another danger, and it deals with the entrance to Harbor Oaks. I've worked through channels trying to keep the business that is located at 2161 from jumping the curb onto Harbor Oaks Drive. When our residents are coming north on 124 and they get into the turning lane, they tend to have to gas it across 124 to get across before the traffic comes. And then they face the clients from the children's port jumping the curb out onto Harbor Oaks Drive, and it becomes a danger to children. I had the police department deliver a letter asking them to stop. The residents of Harbor Oaks have been before the board before and asked that there not be an exit and entrance onto Harbor Oaks from that location. So I went to the the police department and asked for a letter, and they delivered that to the owner, and that was supposed to stop it. Well, they continued to do it, and I've had the third incident this last Friday where a resident of my neighborhood contacted me and said that she had to dodge a van coming out from that property. Children are in these vehicles that are coming off the children's port. It's a daycare. They're jumping the curb. I've seen the children's port daycare van jump the curb. I've seen the owner jump the curb. I believe a second letter was given to them. I'm not sure. I'll have to check with the chief, but I just need help in that location. The police department cannot sit a patrol car out there to stop this jumping the curb, but I have no other answers. I need help.
Thank you,
There's
Ms.
children in these vans.
Thank you, Ms. Rollins. I'm not sure what we can do, but perhaps we can, staff can put it on our next work session agenda so we can discuss
Okay, thank
discuss the
you.
issue. Thank you. Additional public comment?
Marilyn Swinney, 1832 Glenwood Lane, Snellville, Georgia. At the last meeting, spoke, and I was told that I was not heard very well. Therefore, I'm going to say it again. Ms. Couts, did you receive a graduation trophy for completing all requirements for the Leadership Gwinnett program? Any other answer other than an affirmative yes will be considered no. And since you did not complete the course, I would think you have an ethical obligation as mayor to pay the money back to the citizens of Snellville.
Ms. Sweeney, I did complete the course. I did not participate in the graduation, but I did complete the course. Do you have any additional public
You
comment?
completed the course, but you did not get your trophy.
'Cause I
which
did not
means
attend
you
the
are not a
graduation.
graduate.
Okay, do you have any other public comment? Thank you, ma'am. Additional public comment? Seeing none, I will call this a meeting adjourned at 8:58. You guys have a good ride home, and thank you for coming out tonight.